So it's been just over a year since the Nottingham attacks, which saw Barnaby Webber, Grace O'Malley-Kumar and Ian Coates tragically lose their lives.
The families of these victims are fighting for justice and striving to keep their memories alive. And this week, Taunton School is hosting an event to remember Barney, raising funds for the Barnaby Webber Foundation, which supports young people facing challenges as well as supporting grassroots cricket clubs. Who better to talk about it than Barney's brother Charlie and his mum Emma Webber. Hello.
Hi.
I saw you earlier. Whenever I see you, I think, how do you get out of bed in the morning?
Yeah, I think that too. Well, I suppose one of the major reasons is sat next to me.
Yeah.
But as we've been, you guys have been great supporters. As so much has gone so wrong that we have to write that and can't rest until that's done. But yeah, I don't know how you do it. You sometimes try and find a way, don't you?
And Charlie, you're 16.
Yeah.
Just on your GCSEs.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed for the results, hey? This is one of the first times that you've been out talking about everything that you've been through. How hard or how easy is it to talk about Barnaby and events of the last year?
I mean, I think it kind of it gets easier than it was because, you get practice, and I've spoken to countless people about it, but it's still definitely difficult to talk about. Yeah.
I'm sure it is. Emma, you do want, as we said in our introduction, keep the names of the three people who died that day, keep their names alive, and also channel this into some sort of good. So is that partly what's motivating you now?
I think so. I think it has to be. We had so many comments and so many people wanting to donate and do something last summer, and we honestly had no capacity to know what we wanted to do. So we set up the foundation, thinking, OK, so we've done that. It's a conduit where people can put their monies in, and we knew that we wanted it to reflect the person that Barney was. The type of human being he was and the qualities he had. So that's why it's to support any young people under the age of 18 with life challenges. That can be anything, physical, mental, financial, emotional, school, anything like that. So we can support charities or individuals or families. But also his absolute love was cricket. And we know ourselves, living in Somerset, it's a big cricket county, but it's expensive, it's pricey, it's hard to get young people in sometimes, and he'd be so chuffed if he thought, there's going to be some Barnaby Webber Foundation bats given to young people to encourage them to come in.
You've got the fundraising event on Thursday at Taunton School. What's going to happen that day?
Do you want to say? Can you remember?
Of course I can remember. It's...
Oh, don't worry, I've got a teenager.
Yeah.
They just embarrass you, that's all.
It's kind of like an auction evening and a celebration. So we've got loads of, not prizes, we've got loads of things that we're selling and stuff to raise money for the foundation.
OK.
On the night.
Yeah,
and online as well.
Yeah, so it's an evening of we have to make it a celebration.
Yeah.
It's been so much dark and it's really hard to find much light. But this is something that school have been amazing. Good friend of mine, Tanya, who's Charlie's friend, who went to Glastonbury with on Sunday. She's been so amazing at organising it with the school, and it's sort of become a really big thing. And we've got Alex Jones from The One Show who's hosting kindly for us. We've got Timothy Forrester from one of the antiques road trip programmes, I think it is, but he's our auctioneer. And we've got the most amazing auction lots and raffle lots that have been donated. Charlie made me laugh. We were talking this morning before we went and said, can you remember what the auction lots? He said, well, yeah, there's a hog roast. So that's probably not what we're going to lead with. But we have got, we're in Somerset, so it's relevant in West Country. But there is Coldplay have donated amazing lots. We've got an original, Shaun the Sheep, the Wallace and Gromit. These were in Bristol in 2015.
Yes.
And the original artist, she's refurbing one that's been donated. That's going up for auction. We've got Frank Warren, the boxing promoters, giving us tickets for two different events. Liverpool Football Club have donated.
Gosh.
Loads and loads. We've got Gentlemen's Intimate Waxing, which I think will be popular with ladies. Anything, everything.
Send down Drew Pearce the details for that, won't you?
I think the headmaster ought to watch out.
Listen, we'll just stay with us because we've got to take a quick break, but Emma and Charlie are going to stay with us.
So we're still in the studio with Barney Webber's brother Charlie and his mum Emma Webber. Charlie, we've not spoke to you before. Can I ask you, you're incredibly close to your brother. We've seen the lovely photographs of you with your brother. When you were told what had happened?
Yeah, I remember I was on a school trip and my teacher had told me, "Oh, you've got to go home. Your parents are here." And I knew something was wrong because I hadn't done anything wrong to be sent home by this point. So I knew something had happened. And when I saw just mum and dad turn up, I kind of knew a part of me that it was to do with Barney, because if it was something that big and it wasn't him, he'd be there. And then I remember sitting down on the side of the bus and my parents, or mum and dad, telling me that there's been an incident in Nottingham and Barney's been killed. And I remember the feeling, I can't really describe it. It's like you just feel very fuzzy, and I just broke down in tears and I didn't know what to do. I didn't know where to go. I was getting overheated, and it's just, it's something you can't comprehend, is it?
No. And something that, as a mother, you never think you're going to have that conversation.
You should never have to have that conversation, and it's right up there with the top 5 most traumatic things that I've ever had to do, and all of them were last June, and I do think about it, how knowing that we were going to change his life irreparably within 5 seconds. Awful. And I think people say that we're measured and we are trying to deal with this, we're trying to move forward, but never fear that there's this white hot fury about what happened and the failings, and that's why we're fighting so hard. But that's why it's also in some ways a tonic to be here with Charlie today and be able to talk about something a little bit brighter, that we can maybe do something positive with the foundation. So it's been quite. And
you stayed very close to the other 2 families.
Yes, very close. And immediately with Grace's mum and dad, the Amali Kumars, literally straight that evening, Sinead and I began our communication, and it hasn't stopped since then, and we've spent a lot of time with them. And it's not just when we have these awful traumatic meetings we have to have with the government, with the agencies, and our lawyers, etc. We do genuinely enjoy their company, and hopefully they enjoy ours too. I think they do. They turn up, so I think they do. But I can see why those kids, were so drawn to each other, because they're just such an amazing family. And we didn't have the opportunity, and I will say this because I feel the police force were instrumental in not encouraging us to deal with or speak with the Coates family. And we didn't until January, when we were in Nottingham in the court, and James and Darren and Lee were sat deliberately. I think they sat them opposite, right on the other side of the court. But of course we spoke, and ever since then we've been in really close contact. And I think they'd probably say the same. We think that we feel like their family. And David and I were really honoured to be invited to James's wedding in April.
Nice.
The Coates are coming to the event on Thursday night.
Are they? That's lovely.
Which is so lovely.
They lost a dad, a granddad.
They did, and it's like you say, it's easy to sometimes focus on the youth, focus on the beauty, focus on the, that tragedy. But Ian was an amazing man. He was weeks away from his hard worked for retirement, and then this monster took him. And so I've met Ian's grandchildren. I've obviously met his brothers and his family, and in
terms of, I know there's sort of things that you can't really talk about at the moment in terms of the legal side of things, but what wrongs do you want to see righted in terms of that journey so far for this, as you say, this monster to be in a mental institution as opposed to behind bars, still being able to his family claim benefits whilst he's in there?
Life sentence.
What else, Emma?
We were. Where to begin? I tried to be quick. There are enormous multi-agency failures, which is something, unfortunately, we're hearing an awful lot in the news from inquiries. So we have to address all of those, and that's right from 2020 onwards, when he was diagnosed, treated, or lack of treatment within the healthcare system. The police contact prior, lack of the missed opportunities, lack of doing anything. So we have to address all of that, and we will. But I think what we do really need to talk about is how we can change, and why we must change legislation, and our criminal justice system is archaic. There's no support really for victims. They say that at the centre and the heart. We're not. We're an appendix. Appendix? We are an appendix at best, I would say. So victim support is something to concentrate on, and I you know, we have, because we've made so much noise, we have had some doors open, and we have to take that opportunity.
We've got to leave it there.
We've got to leave it. Charlie,
But the very
have a
best of
good
luck.
summer.
Pass
Enjoy
your
your
GCSEs with flying colours. I know you will.
Hopefully, yeah.
And
Well
good
done,
luck with the fundraiser on Thursday at Taunton School.
Thank you.
Barnaby Webber Foundation.
We'll be back